Hi, how you doing? I feel like we're gonna have a little walkie-talkie time, okay? And then I want to make a joke about walkie-talkies. So, yes. The title of this video, no one is going to save me, so I'm going to save myself. And so we're gonna have a little story time, and you're coming on a trip with me. So, buckle up, hopes and dreams, gonna be a lot of fun. Connected with all the feelings today. You know, I have a reoccurring theme, and I'm sure as you look at your life, you can probably see some reoccurring themes too. Maybe we have similar reoccurring themes, but the theme that I just keep coming back with as I reflect on my own life experiences, you know, this is what we do at 44, almost 45, okay, kids? No one is going to save me, so I'm going to save myself. I'm just in that again, yet again. If you watched my childhood story video where I just shared some of I just shared my childhood story from like pre-birth through age 13 and all of those things that happened. I actually watched that video again the other day because I gave the link to a friend and we were talking about it, and I hadn't watched it in a little bit. And I said that line even in that video, and I've been saying that line a lot. And of course, when I say no one is going to save me, so I'm going to save myself, obviously my personal relationship with Jesus is all tied up in all of this. He saves me and directs my steps, all the feelings, directs my steps and makes them sure time and time again. And he empowers me to put one foot in front of the other and do the next thing. And so while I have been facing so many incredible, not incredible in a good way, while I've been facing so many unimaginable dragons in my own life that I never thought I would face, the Lord has been so good to continue to show up and just remind me that he's here and that I'm his girl and that he's in the details. And so in March, I was having my hair done, okay? And I got a phone call from this number, and I don't answer numbers, I don't know. And then I saw the message come through, and it was from somebody with the Trim Healthy Mama brand. Would you believe, yes, I can incorporate Trim Healthy Mama fangirlness into anything. But it matters to me, okay? And I was reading the message, and he wanted me to call him back, and so I did. And he's one of their managers there. And they wanted me to come be on their podcast. And as I talked to him and shared some things, it turned into I would go for a few days and we would film several videos and just spend some time with one another. And on that day that I got that phone call in March, it was just one of those long-time desires of my heart that I know only the Lord knew. And you're like, Jamerrill, you're such a fangirl, but I am. And no one would have known that you all, tons of people know that I'm a Trim Healthy Mama fan, but I've just had this little desire for a long time, and I didn't seek it out like, man, that would be fun to be on their podcast or to meet Pearl and Serene and enter Trim Healthy Mama land, you know. That day in March, it just felt like it was a big hug from the Lord. And so we set up that I was gonna go, I believe in April. I had it all planned out. And so how mama life goes, fast forward to April, we had strep throat running through these here parts, and of course I started coming down with it. I woke up at like 11 p.m. I'd gone to bed early. I needed to get up to go catch my flight. I needed to leave it or get up at 4 so I could leave early. Anyway, I just woke up with like the chills and the fever and the throat and all the things, and it was coming for me. The people in my house had worked through it, But like you know, sometimes folks can work through it and then Mama gets it a little later. That's how it worked out here. So I had to cancel that. So we rescheduled it, and I'm going to take you along with me now on my dream Trim Healthy Mama adventure trip. And just know, as we go on this trip together, it was just a special hug from the Lord, and I'm thankful for this time and the friendships and the conversation and big batch cook and payoff day candies and all the fun things we did down in Tennessee. Okay, I'm excited. Ramsey Solutions. I won't be able to be here to see their show live today, but I still want to go in the lobby. I'm in Tennessee, and look at what I found. Let's see if they can do my low-carb burger. So we are in Tennessee. I have flown in, get ready for this, to be on the Trim Healthy Mama podcast. Oh yes. And to do some extra special Trim Healthy Mama inspired videos. Do the Trim Healthy Mama things.
Go ahead with your order, man.
Yes, I would like the double bacon cheeseburger that comes in the number 5, but I don't need the combo, just the cheeseburger. And can you all make that low carb and wrap it in lettuce?
So you want a double bacon cheeseburger, low carb stuff?
Yes. Do you all have green beans here as a side?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take that and just a bottle of water.
Bottle of water.
Actually, do you all have lemon for your tea?
We do.
Then I'll take an unsweet tea with lemon, a medium. Thank you for letting me run you around.
You're fine. You want a, what size sweet tea?
A medium.
Medium?
Unsweet.
Unsweet. Okay.
Yeah, with some lemon though.
Sorry.
All right, honey, I'm so sorry. Was that a sweet or an unsweet?
Unsweet,
Okay.
with lemon.
All right, and then for the double bacon cheeseburger, did you just want that with no bun, or do you want it lettuce wrapped?
Lettuce wrap, please.
Okay.
It's my favorite. It keeps me alive.
All right, honey, anything else for
No, that's it. Thank you.
It's going to be $12.49. Go ahead and pull it
Okay. I really have not eaten today. About 5:30 a.m. at Dulles Airport, I had those little egg bites. At Starbucks, look, they gave me little lemon packs. And then, boy, what else did I do? Well, I've had my protein bars with me and some meat sticks. Thank you, appreciate it. Oh. Hey, hon. Ma'am. Hey. Hey. Hi. This isn't the double.
It's supposed to be the double?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay, I like the meat. Appreciate it. They'll fix it. But I always check my burger before I pull off. I love it. That burger just, they should call it the Jamerrill burger here at Hardee's, haha. But it's very good to me. But once in a while, it'll, won't have the bacon or won't have the something. And I appreciate them wrapping it in lettuce. But apparently, most Hardee's, you can have any of their sandwiches made low carb, and they have full lettuce leaves. Where some restaurants sometimes, it's just shredded lettuce. Well, I'm gonna go all out and use all 3 of these lemon packets. We're just doing our own wannabe Arnold Palmer situation. I do have some stevia packets.
Sorry about that, sweetie.
That's okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
Yay, okay. Perfect. I see it all. Okay, so they got it right for me. I do have, we are almost over to the hotel, but I don't think I can check into the hotel, and I'm on the Trim Healthy Mama podcast today. I I think I need to leave this area in an hour, but I believe where we record is only 20 minutes away. And I did get almost 5 hours sleep. Oh, that's the windshield wipers, don't do that. Much better than when I went to California and I was on 3 hours sleep and then flew all day and smoked that night. We're doing much better. I just would like to lay down for a good 30 minutes. Get our tea going. Yep, just like this. This is what we're doing. Little rest. Feeling good. Gonna freshen up. Gonna solve some life problems by heading over to McDonald's and get a nice coffee. It'll be good for the drive. Okay, so we're here, and this is where we're going to do the podcast. We made it. Hi. I just wanted to let you all know, in case the smoke alarm goes off, that I just burnt a bag of popcorn in room 419. There's no fire. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it was gonna set the sprinklers off that are in this room. I see smoke coming from the door, but I did open it and there is no fire. It's just me. Okay. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I did that. Getting settled into the hotel room here. I recorded with the Trim Healthy Mama sisters, with Pearl and Serene, and then we also recorded an exclusive video for my large family table community membership. And it's getting choked up in here. We doing okay? Okay. Came here, I was unpacking things, and I had a little like micro bag of popcorn, and I put it in this microwave, and I burnt it, obviously. So, good start. And my concern was there was smoke coming from the top, and up there's the little, yeah, I just wanted to let them know there's really not a fire in here. I did open the door, there's really not, I just done burnt it. But recording their podcast went really well. I'm not sure offhand when that'll be out, but I will let you know. It'll be coming. And then my video I did for my large family table community membership is for May, so the members will be getting that. Tomorrow we're filming a cooking video. I'm also doing another video interview style thing with them. We have a dinner tonight and tomorrow night and church Sunday and a meal after that, so lots of good food going down too. So here's my little bag of sadness. I just pulled out of the microwave. That's sad. It was just a random bag that was left from that trip to California. This is like one little mini bag that they gave us, and it was in my suitcase. That's sad. Good thing I'm going to dinner here shortly. Okay, blaring sun. We are going to go find dinner now. Hi, this is my good friend Lexi, and she has helped me with all the Trim Healthy Mama things since January, maybe 2022-ish. I would send her pictures of my food from that 8 app that I showed you about. So hi Lexi. And how long have you been on Trim Healthy? Healthy Mama?
Since January 2021.
We're fangirls. Okay.
Yes, and I've lost 45 pounds. And it changed my life.
Because you had triple sugar and
Yes, I didn't know. I didn't know, but I've had lifelong anxiety.
Sorry, it's really happening in here, so we're getting close. Okay.
Yes, and all of that went away.
Okay, by getting rid of the
Getting
sugar.
rid of the sugar.
See, we can fix ourselves. So, by the way, I slept 8.5 hours last night. They're going to be interested because I got more last night. I'm sorry, the night before. Let me ramble per my brand than I usually do when I travel. But anyway, I got good sleep. I'm here at the Trim Healthy Mama Cafe. We just had a meeting in the back talking all about YouTube. I was giving them some YouTube ideas, but now we're here and we're going to eat.
Yes, I'm hungry.
Yes, let's eat good things. So we have the beautiful butterfly, and then we have a whole lot of ladies and the sisters. Then here's their all their lovely things. The whey protein I have in my kitchen, the baking blend, the collagen. Here's their sweeteners, whenever we talk about them. You know, I do get a lot of my sweeteners at Walmart, or monk fruit is one that I use. They got stevia here. I'll also get them at Costco, but it doesn't cost, I think it's very affordable to also, it is so happy in here, huh? I've never seen these. The hydrate mix in like the full powder. I've bought these before. I like the variety pack. I love this. I've used a lot of it. So, nutritional yeast. Now this is, I think I've mentioned to you, I need to figure out makeup because I realize my Walmart makeup might try to kill me. I want to take some time while I'm here and try to figure out some makeup situations. And so part of this theme of saving myself, what that looks like for me in this season is to look for things that bring me joy, even if I'm clawing. Hi.
I need my backpack to buy lunch.
Where's your backpack? Pearl is buying me lunch. We're doing chicken salad. Hi, Pearl.
Hi.
You are one of 2 Trim Healthy mamas.
Yeah.
You're it. You and Serene.
Serene and I, well, we're the founders, but we're one of millions now.
This is true. This is true. The originals, the original Trim Healthy Mamas. So she's ordering us the chicken salads and side salad. So it's going to have a low carb wrap. Okay, so we are having our lunch, and this is chicken salad,
Yes.
gluten-free bread.
Yep. Gluten-free low carb bread. Yep.
Side salad, deliciousness. Another thing I've clawed onto that brings me joy is the food in my face being on plan, being Trim Healthy Mama food. And I've actually been on this journey for a couple years, but even more so, late August 2023, I have just like movement and what I'm putting in my mouth. It has been good for me. It has been good, like steady things for me to focus on every day. And even things like going on this trip to Tennessee is a way that I save myself because it's good for my soul. And when I do things that are good for my soul and build me up and help me during this time, as a mom and as a woman, that spills over into all the people I care for and love. Okay, so we are in the Trim Healthy, is this the Trim Healthy Mama test kitchen? This is something, they film videos here. And so coming up, we're gonna film a triple batch of, we're filming a lot of the Payoff Day candies. And I'm getting ready to film another video with Pearl and Serene down here at this end of the kitchen. And I have, I'm using peanuts as my tripod because I'm high tech. And so I'm just determined through this whole journey to be strong, and being weak is totally fine. I have total weakness times and moments. But overall, I want to be strong physically and emotionally and spiritually and all those things. And I want to make choices in that direction. So when I have choices and things that come up in front of me, I make them with that theme of saving myself. You know, there's a podcaster I really enjoy, Natalie Huffman, and she talks a lot about saving the girl that has your name and that has my name. And so that has really helped me in thinking about, I have to save the girl who has my name. So again, this whole adventure down to Trim Healthy Mama Land and just the whole experience was the Lord just, you know, yes, here, I see you, and I'm very thankful for it.
I would
Okay.
like to sit lower.
Okay, well,
Because naturally I sit higher than you.
This is how
anyway,
we set up.
because
Are
My
you-
height's in my torso.
We're getting set up, and we have to. So here's our screen, ladies. See this little, see our little screen.
oh, that's us. We
So
can see us.
we have to. So when you do YouTube, you
Yeah.
might want a little camera that you see yourself.
We do need to.
Yes.
Oh,
do
don't you
this.
guys have one for like the? Didn't you have that one with the light on it or whatever?
I'm doing
Oh,
YouTube
that's
consulting.
phone. We've done phones. So should we not do stuff like on Thursday afternoons? Nate's gonna come over. and We're gonna do stuff. Should we get something like this rather than a phone?
We'll hash that out. Okay.
Because we can purchase.
We're
one of
gonna
these
we're
if we
gonna
think
do
it's a
another
good
little
idea.
interview. Yeah, this is what a lot of YouTubers use, the Canon
Yeah.
G7X.
It must
But
pick
you
up
all
the-
have
And when
other.
you're talking just then, were you talking to yourself so you know when to start?
No, I'm talking to my audience.
Oh, they're watching right now?
Not yet.
Oh, I was about to
One
do my
day.
notes. I'm just teasing.
I'm gonna show them how YouTube works. So one day they will watch this video.
Sorry,
and
I
you all
just
can
turned
watch
it
it on your TVs too.
No, but they're watching all of this banter?
Not right now.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Well, later.
We don't know how to do video. We don't know how to.
No,
edit
but
video.
banter's a thing. Banter's a thing. So, woo! Ah! See,
No, I'm saying like
okay.
live. I know it's
They
not
are not
live.
watching
I know,
live.
but they will be watching
But-
you talking, saying this very
No,
thing.
yes, unless, well, I would like to leave it in, unless you all want me to take it out.
No, it's fine.
This is what, like you all know when you write your books.
Yeah.
And that first book, when you went back and forth with your sister banter, people like to see real life and real life banter.
Oh, okay.
Too.
Well, great. Well, they got that.
Well, they know that now. Now they know we're terrible YouTubers and we have to stop.
But you're not,
from
you're,
the very
well, and we can also seriously, hold on, Justin. Justin's my editor, so I leave him notes. We can also seriously edit and tweak.
Oh, I don't care about that.
We have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
That's good. So they're going to work on their YouTube channel, and as they do, then you all, well, you need to go over there now and find it. I will put it, the link in the description. And Pearl and Serene and all the Trim Healthy Mama folks here are going to work on doing
Yeah.
things over
Hey,
there.
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you're like looking, let's just say you're at home, you have your,
Yes.
your little
Yeah.
camera there,
Uh-huh.
and you're doing your YouTube, you're talking to all your audience, and you see yourself in this little G5, whatever it is.
Yes.
Do you look kind of at yourself,
Yeah, 'cause
but
that's
looking
weird.
through to your
Usually I
audience?
try to look in the lens,
Okay.
but I do have to check it.
Do you
to
feel
see
like
where-
when you look up at yourself, because just
people
make sure
don't always like it, but
they can tell when you look up?
some of y'all complain, don't you? Yes, some of them do.
Okay, because
But-
it's weird. You almost feel like you're engaging more when you're seeing what they're
So
seeing.
so a lot of the top picture there is just to like set up a shot. And so like I'll look at it, I'll set it up, and then I'll start and I'll look at the lens.
Oh.
But it's hard
good
when you're
to
doing it
know.
on a phone though, because
The phone is all you see is
little
yourself.
Yeah.
dot on the corner of a phone.
So yeah, we'll talk
Okay.
about whether we should get one of these.
Well, friends, I am here with my friends Pearl and Serene, the Trim Healthy Mama sisters, and we are going to have a conversation today about all the things the Lord has done. Hard situations in particular, where, like, I've had some hard situations, and I did not know what was going to happen and how am I getting out of this one.
Yeah.
And Jesus has led me through one step at a time, and you don't always have the whole plan.
Yeah.
I you know, you live our lives by means. I saw something on Instagram the other day that said, well, if you don't know, you know, the whole road, do you know your next step?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we can do that next step
Yeah.
and then the next and go from there. So,
Well, yeah, we relate. I mean, both of us have gone through some stuff, not as big as yours, but definitely stuff.
I win.
Yeah. Definitely.
I don't know, Serena, I don't know. Yes, you win actually, but you do. But stage 4 cancer with your son's pretty big.
Yeah, but I agree. I totally agree. I don't want to be the winner.
Not those
No, I know. None of us want to win this. We don't want to
No,
win
I
this.
want
But what are some ways the Lord showed up and just showed, like, one of my little goodness glimmers is like just even the Lord setting it up where it just at the right time. You all could have asked me years ago to come and be on your podcast or whatever, because I've been a Trim Healthy Mama evangelist for a long time. But now at this time of my life, you know, in March when Nate called me, you know, it was a very sad time. And I'm like, that would be so good for my soul. And I really felt like it was Jesus hugging me, like, I see you.
Has it been good for your soul so
It
far?
has,
Because
it
we've been
has.
kind of working you too.
Well, we work, but I enjoy work.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
we like making these payoff day candies and
Yeah.
quadruple batches and everything.
I don't know if the people here know any of the story, but for those who don't, my eldest son, my eldest biological son, because we've adopted children as well, he at 18 was just in his peak and in his prime and just starting to, like, you know, he's 6'5" and he was just like a brute of a guy, you know, and he was just like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is fantastic. Seeing him in his strength, it was fantastic. And he got engaged. I know that sounds very young, but he was kind of like an old soul, and met another kind of old soul, and they got married young. But 3 weeks after they got married, and he looked very ethereal at his wedding day. I'm like, oh, it must be love, you know, they just lost all this weight just living on love, you know. But he looked very pale and ethereal. And 3 weeks after, he went to the doctor just for some little slight checkup. It had nothing, he didn't like know he had cancer, and he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, oh my goodness, it went very, usually with Hodgkin's lymphoma, they call it an indolent cancer. You have time, it's slow growing. You can kind of like...
There's a reason his was fast, because of the way he developed the cancer. We found out later, he went, before he was married, he was trying to make money. So he did this job where you travel around and you do pesticide spraying around the cell towers, carry bag of Roundup on your back.
Like a backpack. Right, and so the more cell towers you do in one day, the more money you'll be paid. And so he's trying to, like, I'm about to get married, I want to get us some money in the bank to put a down payment on a house or whatever. And yeah, and so they didn't get to anywhere to rest until late evening. And so the first cell tower of one particular day, he forgot to zip up the backpack and he jumped over the fence, you know, young guy, jump over the fence to get over to a new part to weed eat and spray, and all of the Roundup came up and down all around his neck. He didn't think much about it. He was just like, well, this is not good, I suppose. So he had one water bottle. He just shook it over his neck and he couldn't wash off till that evening. Wow. And he was young, and I suppose he, you know, hindsight.
Soaking on you all day.
Yeah. Hindsight, but that's where the cancer began. Okay. But he didn't really think about that it was that until maybe like a little bit later. But anyway, it was aggressive, and so he went from that to fourth stage within 2 or 3 months. And it was, you know, he went from, like I described at the beginning, to almost like a Jewish concentration camp victim. He was so skinny and gaunt and pale, and every muscle had been eaten off his body, and it was life and death. And by the time we'd taken all kinds of alternative treatments, because, you know, being from a health background, I'm like, chemo kills you anyway, like, oh, it's the last thing I wanted to have happen. You know, and but we took him down to Mexico and did all the latest and the greatest alternative treatments, and it helped some other people we took down there too, just as like a tithe, you know, like we'll cover some other people too, so that it just felt right to bless other people in that approach. But they got better, my son, he got worse, and so by the time we took him to Vanderbilt, the big tumors were growing and pushing his heart around and lungs around, and it was critical care. And at that same time, we were having prayer meetings nightly, and that was a beautiful thing. You said, how did the Lord bless you and carry you through that time? Going to his presence was the one thing. It's like for I don't know how many, 16 weeks straight, every night for 2 hours, the whole hilltop, our whole family and extended family gathered together to just pray for him. Sometimes he could be there and we just hang off of him and just pray, you know, and sometimes it was more like we just danced around the room and worshiped. But having that every night was kind of like the anchor to have enough strength to go through the next day. But anyway, all that to say, one of my sons that lived in Franklin came out to one of the prayer meetings. That was an hour or so away, and he was very tired on the way back, had a head-on collision. And at the same time we were visiting one of our sons in the critical ward, up in trauma, 3 floors up, we were visiting another son. So, and who they said would never walk again, speak again. You know, he was in a coma, and they said out of, you know, brain issues, like head injuries, his was in the very, very severe category. And anyway, it was just a very, 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 I suppose, hard time. And when we finally had him get chemo, I was just like, and his hair started falling out. It was just so hard for me as a mum, but also because I kind of knew what all that chemo was doing to him as well. Right. And my husband's like, no, he's going to a Jesus spa. You have to look at it like that,
yeah.
you know, because the cancer was already trying to kill him, and sometimes you have to do aggressive things to break the back of cancer before you can even do natural, really. But anyway, it was definitely a time, but I remember thinking to not think so much.
Yes.
You know?
That's where I am right now, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's things I can do.
Yeah.
I'm doing the responsibilities I have to do, but there's me thinking really doesn't fix or change anything.
Right.
What's going to happen is going to happen. The Lord is in control. And I just...
Yeah, and it's the mind of Christ
Yes.
that gives more peace than the mind of man. And I felt like the more I thought, the more I was going down avenues that was very human thinking. And human thinking doesn't really work in those tough times, right? And so I just really had to say to myself, there's no plan B. I'm only going with plan A, which is faith. Because if I go with plan B, which is what if, and what if he dies, and then what if there, and you see yourself at the funeral, and you go boom, boom, boom down those years.
Right.
Plan B doesn't even coincide. You can't have a plan B in your backpack while you're doing plan A anyway, because it just undoes all your faith.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just going with plan A. So I wouldn't even allow plan B to even flit through my brain. It's like as soon as it went into my brain, I'm like,
Nope.
you know, like you're a terrorist. Like I don't negotiate with terrorists.
That's right. We are not doing this.
Yes.
But I think looking on, when I look back at Serene at those times, you know, I'm the aunt of the one of the two dying in the hospital ward, and you know, and I felt for my sister so much. I felt my own pain, but I couldn't imagine a mother's pain, you know. But I look back and I was so kind of not in disbelief, but I was in awe at how God carried you through. It was almost like you were snug in a bug. It was unspeakably horrible, such as something you're going through, and yet you were snug in a bug in God's care somehow.
Well, I think it's grace in this way, because sometimes when you hear other people's stories, God doesn't really need to give the hearer the grace, because I'm not the one walking through it. But I suppose he really is there with the grace for those who are actually in the trenches with that story. But I really look back at that time. This sounds weird. Sounds very, very weird. But I look back at that time nostalgically in a way, because to survive the day, sometimes I'll just take my boombox out into our orchard with worship music and just turn my brain off really and just dance before the Lord, because it was just a form of worship I don't even engage in now. That's why I'm jealous of that time. I'm like, why can't I get back to that? My heart feels that way, but I feel so self-conscious now. Like in the back of church, I used to be dancing all around the back, and now I'm like, lift up my hands, because there was a desperation there that my heart is still the same in love with God, but there was a desperation that I had back then that I am kind of jealous of. And I remember a mother called me up and said, Serene, I know you're going through such a hard time, but I want you to know I've been through a hard time too. She lost 2 babies, twins that were born, and they were in the NICU for a long time, and she carried, one was 2 years old by the time it passed away, but they had problems from birth. She said that I want you to know you're going to look back at these times, and God's going to carry you, and his presence is going to be so tangible in your life. You'll look back at these times and you'll have sweet memories. And she's like, I'm almost jealous of those times. And even though they were so hard, I did have to agree with her looking back. There were sweet times because of his presence.
Yes, you'd never would never want to live it again, but he's definitely there.
I think, you know, I mean, I kind of listened to you guys' story, and I've never walked through what Serene has walked through. I haven't walked through anything that you've walked through. But, you know, when I look at people's lives, nobody has a perfect life. We all go through struggles. They're all like, okay, so maybe my struggle is a 3 out of 10 and you're facing a 10 out of 10, you know. I feel like, though, we all go through things. And, you know, even just yesterday, and if my struggles are 3, but I was getting down about them yesterday, I said to my husband, my human nature just wants to have it figured out, just like you said, but I can't. This is something I can't figure out. We're not supposed to. We've got to just give it and trust. But it's the hardest thing, and I think maybe it's easier. Maybe that's the thing when you're going through this 10 out of 10. There's no choice but to give it.
Yeah.
You can't do anything else. But here I am at a 3 out of 10, and I'm still like, well, there's that. Okay. Oh my goodness. But what if we do that? You know, and I'm still working out, and then you know how you have the Bible app? There was the verse of the day, and I pastors' kids, right? Grew up with this one, sung the songs, but it hit me in such a new way. It was so good. Why are you cast down on my soul? Why are you disquieted within me? Disquiet. You know, that's what I was just feeling, Nancy. Hope in God. It's so simple. Hope in God. For I shall yet praise him. There's the faith. The help of my countenance and my God. And I thought about that help of my countenance. And Serena and I are big science, geeks, nerds, and we've understood that the mere smiling does something to your body, even when you're going through a rough time. And I like, King David knew the help of my countenance. So I'm like, okay, I've got this stressful flight or fight face on, pearl. What good is it doing you? God is my hope. So I just like put the smile, like turn up my lips.
Right.
Why not? I have a Father who cares for me, and I get to give it to him. Get to give it to him. How blessed are we? Even in your 10 out of 10, you get to give it to him.
That's right.
Wouldn't wish it on anyone.
I always say I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I mean, we know that the Lord is with us in the fire, and either if Jesus is real or he isn't, he's going to show.
That's what I used to say. I'm like, now the ceilings hit the fan, it can't be just a fairy tale to me.
Yeah, no.
I either believe it or I don't.
Yes.
And if I believed it back then when it was a fairy tale, I'm going to certainly believe it now.
Exactly. And he's in that verse about different verses the Lord has spoken to me, and about the Lord being close to the brokenhearted. And I'm like, and I feel him like close to me and carrying me. And I just know whatever the future is going to be, he's already there.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it's just the one step after another.
And I love that. And a lot of your story we were sharing with each other yesterday.
Yes.
And I relate to one part of your story, and that you said that you couldn't control pretty much any of it, except you could control what you put in your mouth.
Right.
And you could control how you moved your body.
Yes.
And a lot of people, when they go through these 10 out of 10s, it's like, well, that's the last thing I'm going to think of. Anyone want to bring over that frozen lasagna and that grandma's, pecan pie? The churches start to bring you food. I'll just, when I get back from the hospital or come back from a situation you're like maybe dealing with court, whatever, and you're going to I'm just going to pig out on that stuff. But I thought to myself, the devil's already having a heyday here. I'm not going to let him have a heyday with my health.
Right.
Just because everything else is trying to be broken down, I'm not going to let one more thing be broken down. This is the thing that I can control.
That's right.
So I remember, having to be out of my home all day and at the hospital, and I knew that it's like the Snicker bar vending machines and the Sprite and the Coke. So I would pack this little cooler of just, I didn't have time to make any food, but I had time to press a button on the blender. So I just had 3 or 4 quart jars, and I filled them up with all the psycho super foods that I could, stuck them in a cooler, and I just lived on that for months and months and months and months.
You did it.
But that was the way, and I remember waking up earlier so I could hit my little press play on one of our work-ins, and work out before, because I'm like, my body's going to start to feel all of the stress, and I need to fortify it.
Exactly.
But you were saying that, can you share, have you already shared it?
Yeah, I can do it again and again and again, because we love to talk about it. So the only thing that I could do, I had so much stress built up in my body, and the way that I've explained it is, it felt like fire, and I know it's some part of that stress cycle. And so the only way that I could process it was I just started walking, and I was hitting 10,000 steps a day, which I wasn't before. And then I started to hit 20,000 a day, and it got to the point very quickly where I figured out a pattern where I needed to leave my property every day. And I went, because I couldn't be on that property. And my mom was with my children, and I went to a local park, and I just walked 3 to 4 hours.
Wow.
And in that time I could get 30 to 40,000 steps.
Wow.
And so
Can I ask you, what was your thought space? Were you giving it to God, or what were you doing?
Well, I did all kinds of things, but of course I would cycle through. Some days I just listened to the same worship song over and over again. Promises by Maverick City Music, that one my 3-year-old has it memorized. Yes, we know that one well. So I would get on a song, and all I could do was focus and worship in my mind as I'm walking at the park with those families. And then I would cycle through, praying for however long I felt like I needed it, dumping it all on Jesus, and then listening to music, and then thinking through next steps, thinking through what I would need to do, or just not thinking at all. Because as you walk, as you move your body, you start to get those endorphins, and you all know all these other great hormones and chemicals and things happening in your body. Endorphins is all I know. I just know I felt so good.
Yes.
Even though it was a nightmare by the time I was done. And then I would be like, I felt good. I had all that good energy, but there was a worn downness of my mind and my body.
Yeah.
And if my mind was worn down in a healthy way, I wouldn't go down all those spiral thoughts.
Right. You thought enough so when you got to the pillow at night.
And I moved. Yeah, and I moved.
so you could sleep.
And
so your body was like,
right.
no, I need to rest.
Right.
Yeah.
And whenever I would get home, I would take about an hour or so long Epsom salt hot bath. And by that point, my mind had processed enough where I could just sit. And then I would be able to go to bed and sleep 7 or 8 hours.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I just had to do that every day for about 12 weeks or so. Because otherwise, whenever I was still, I remember one time sitting at the table and like I was trying to eat a sweet potato with my cottage cheese and I started bawling in it. And my kids and I even found screenshots on my phone recently. You know, we've just talked about how like when the feelings come, you have to feel them. Like when you need to cry, your body needs to let that out. And that's okay. I wasn't trying to suppress that. But I was also just trying to balance, like, I also couldn't live there all day.
Right.
Yes.
Like I've said, and on your podcast, you know, I had to freaking live. So I just had to choose that. And I did, you know, my therapist said I was doing a good job, and I was also walking that line. Like we don't want to, and I don't know all the proper therapeutic terms. We need to face reality, which I was facing it because I was living it. I wasn't living in fantasy, but I also didn't want to shut down and end up in the hospital, which is also understandable. I could have, you know.
See, that's amazing though. 2 simple things probably kept you out of the hospital.
Yes. And we even had a plan. Like if I just had to go to a hospital, we would do that. But I was trying to not do that. And so that's where, even though I was leaving my children for a couple hours a day, I was saving their mother. You know. And so then by 3 months in, and I started to get sad again because the weather started to, I mean, I was sad the whole time, but I could tell I needed to do something because by mid-November, the weather was changing.
You know, that makes a difference.
It does. And as far as the time outside, less daylight, and also juggling mom life and family needs. And so at that point, then I was like, I think I could run now. And so I started with all that walking, maybe doing 1 or 2 laps. There's some water coming for you. And then I downloaded the free Nike Run app. And I was like, I think I could run a 5K, because all those months of, I think it's like 15 miles a day or so. And so I didn't do couch to 5K where that walking was. I just ran a 5K. And it was like a 41-minute 5K, but who cared? Like I ran the whole thing, start to finish. And then I was like, oh, and so then I just started running a 5K every day. And I did like 9 days of 5Ks.
So you could get more done in the sunlight than...
Yes, I could.
3 hours you could do it.
It wasn't the same amount of steps, you know, it might only be 12,000 steps, but I think that was also part of my progressive healing journey, is I was getting to the point where, okay, I could function in other parts of daily life, but I still had to get my run in. And now, months later, I run 3 to 5 times a week, but I'm fine on my days I don't run. I'm okay. Like I'm not running today. We're running. We're doing things, but that's part of the healing. And now it's become like a passion hobby. But
so amazing that you did this, and you.
Well, I just think the Holy Spirit tapped
there was
me
nothing
in.
that
Like
you read about it. Like this is the
save
most
yourself,
amazing
do
therapy.
this.
No, you just felt it.
I did start therapy in November. I do that weekly. And I probably should have done it sooner, but anyway, started it by then. And she's been very encouraging. Of course, my doctor's done blood work and the blood sugar testing and everything. And after I started running 5Ks on my property, I was like, I think I could run 5Ks with other people.
Wow.
So, and I need people, and I'm basically building a whole new life. So I was like, okay, in this new life, I guess I could make new friends by running races, you know? So I signed up for this 5K winter series. And so it would be like 500 to 700 people. And I wasn't last, which last is still doing it, but I'd be in the middle. Like, you know, and that was fun. And I think like my best 5K time at that time was 38 minutes. And I had a pace of like 12:30 to 14, but who cares? Because like I was doing it. But I continued on, and then by March I had shin splints, and that was so sad. And I cried over that because I was just picturing that can become a stress fracture. And I would have 12 weeks. I was really worried if I was going to have 12 weeks of no heavy movement. So I went to had an x-ray. I did not have a stress fracture, and I did at that point, as an investment in myself, I'm like, I'm going to get a running coach. So I start, so
they changed the way you were doing your...
Yeah, so she actually, she's taught me like the proper stretches, and like she helped me heal my shin splints, and then started me gentle. And so now I do these runs where I'll run for 30 minutes straight or 35 minutes straight, and then I walk a few minutes, and then she has me do these strides where I run like as fast as I can for 20 seconds.
That's brilliant.
Okay. And so
it's
like,
a good hit.
And so I think what she's doing is eventually I'll be running those speeds, but like my strides will be like 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Now because she's done Boston Marathon and all that, she has like a 5 to 6 minute mile. Like it's, you know, my best mile though now is 10 minutes and 29 seconds.
Amazing.
And my most recent race I came in, and so my most recent race came in right at around 35 minutes. So that's progress,
amazing.
You know. Next
More
year,
progress.
I want to get to the point where like I could do a sub 30-minute 5K, you know.
Yeah,
but over time.
But I'm just thinking through this. You know, it's really incredible. I think, you know, who knows what your listeners are going through in their own lives right now.
Exactly. And what
you know, you lost.
onto.
You felt. I'm sure it must have felt like you'd lost your world.
Yes.
But through it, now you're gaining.
I'm creating a new world in a different
healthy
way. Yes.
healthiness.
Yes, that's right. And
Beauty from ashes.
Exactly. Jesus is in it with me, and I'm just having to do new things for my brain and my body.
Right.
Yeah.
Smart.
It's making it through.
Oh, Tuesday. But Americans love them.
Yes. For
Remember how we wrote a book and we popped out Jamerrill? Well,
I bet Suzanne, if there was a little chocolate on them, would probably eat them by the dozen.
Oh, drizzle a little chocolate. We should do that on
Little candy
As long as it's on Gunsmoke, 100% chocolate from somewhere in the cafe for me.
Oh, we have to bring that up because we won't sell. There'll be 0 sales.
You have to go where the money is.
I know, I suppose that's what
So here's a plate where we can get whatever. If you want to add them on there, and then what we can do is just maybe.
You're that one, look
If you want, this one's available.
They are like, this is why I do times 8 batches.
Oh.
Yeah.
See?
All my kids are convinced.
We should have them in the cafe, right?
You want one?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Solly wants one. She loves
Yeah. Oh yeah, but we need all of them in the, we're gonna eat
Yeah,
them up.
leave them in the-
Leave them all.
yeah, leave them.
Okay, I'll
You want
take candy
both sides of
card.
the fridge then?
We're gonna have one soon.
You can,
Yeah,
then you
I'll-
can just start pulling them off so that
Yeah, like,
you
do you
can
guys
set them
like-
on your plate.
Yeah, so we need to pull them out of the fridge.
Do you want to?
No, it's, we can come back to you having them there like that.
Okay, so that's okay.
So here they are. They are beautiful, and we're going to.
Well, how long
eat
will
them.
you keep these in the fridge to chill?
Oh, and you've got a chill plate. That's
And
smart.
I feel like I'm trying to remember back in my kitchen. Within 2 hours or
Can't
so.
see that stuff.
Does that sound right?
Toss it
Starter. I don't think it even says in
It
there
doesn't say.
how long.
You want me to start putting them here?
Yes.
But they're nice and hard.
But you know, within it, my kids are checking them at an hour. So refrigerate until first.
Yeah.
And
But can I see?
yes,
Because
and
look,
also
they're nice
they
and
are.
But do you see how she's got a cold plate? That's smart.
That's so smart. They
Have a bite of yours.
Oh,
They
very.
work so taste.
No.
Rather than you stuff. All the things, making your bed, my whole life is doing things like that for you.
That never happened. Never happened.
No.
My goodness, it's good. I'm going to make them with pecans.
You should.
Mm.
And
Oh.
pecan extract.
Oh my goodness.
I know, right? Even though they're sweet,
But the nuts.
they're so naughty
Yeah.
tasting, eh?
Yeah.
They really are. And that's why if I was doing a big batch, it would be my meal.
Oh.
Girlfriend, come. I've got my little daughter here. You want to come taste? Not on the camera.
You know what this is? Insurance against
Snickers.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's Snicker insurance. You are not going to dive deep into the sugar.
Yeah, I know, but because
Why
I'm
would
a
you?
health
Why
psycho,
would you?
right?
Mhm.
It's almost like I can't do it because it's so naughty tasting.
It's too naughty.
I took that bite. That bite was like, you're going to be sent to hell.
No!
For eating Snickers. No, but it's that naughty tasting. You know what I mean? I know the ingredients.
That's the clickbait for this video. You're going to be sent to hell.
And I'm having a second one.
No, I'm just trying to say. No, I love when I get fruit, but my taste buds are just not inclined to this because this is naughty. It tastes so naughty.
You know how people say, oh, naughty is a trigger word from food. Don't associate food with naughty or good, but these taste naughty. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Very good.
If it's trigger, whatever. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
They are really good.
For doing this for us.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for being from Healthy Mama.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Delicious.
So that was just a wonderful, wonderful trip, wasn't it, friends? So good and encouraging. Continuing on, I know that so many of you have wanted to know, laid out details of my running journey. Did I used to run track? How did I get into running? Where in the world to start? And so going along with the whole overall theme of this video, let me share this story with you. Friends, I have a story time for you indeed today. I have been sharing over the last several months my continued journey to being a runner, and I am for sure not an expert. I am not your running coach, but I do hope to be an inspiration to mamas going through hard things, and for mamas finding themselves in the middle of hard things. And my goodness, how do we make the best of this, for sure, right? And so in my journey, I had the most traumatic experience of my entire life. End of summer 2023, and just wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And one of the things that saved me during that time is I started a tremendous amount of daily walking. I didn't start out at 30,000 to 40,000 steps a day. You know, I started getting 10,000, then 20,000, then working up to 30,000, 40,000, and so on from there. And boy, it took 3 to 4 hours a day. My mom was with my children. I had a tremendous amount of emotional processing I needed to do. And of course, my therapist and my doctor knew I was doing that amount of walking, and they encouraged me. That was a good, healthy coping mechanism for me. And so it's what I had. For a while, I had to leave our property and go to a park to get that walking done every day. And then eventually I could be on my property and do that walking, but it was not like that at first. And so I continued on with the walking. And I'll piece this story together here. I'm waiting to pick up some folks here. So my running journey began with heavy walking so I could make it through and then also sleep at night, which was just a miracle. And that's how I got through probably a good, I'm not looking at a calendar, a good 8 to 12 weeks. And by the end of that 8 to 12 weeks, okay, so I'll add in and say, I don't necessarily recommend walking those large amounts, but just that's my intuition. That's how I was led. That is what I needed to do. And I'm so thankful I was able to tap into that. Then by the time I got to November, I had already run a couple laps. You know, I would be at the park walking or walking on my property, and just once in a while, like, my legs felt so stretched out. I was like, I think I can run. So I started running just a little speck. And then I thought, I wonder if I could run a 5K. You know, could I do that? And so I downloaded the free Nike Run app, and I got it set up quickly, and I ran my first 5K on my property. And then I ran a 5K every day for 9 days straight. So this is how mamas, busy mamas, right mamas, piece stories together. So yes, ran the 9K every day for 9 days straight. And I thought, maybe I could run a 5K with other people now. I'm doing this on my property, but there's 5Ks in my area. people run them. I've seen them on Facebook. I know that folks do this. So I lurked in my local area, and I found that there was a 5K winter series, and I signed up for the whole thing. And let me tell you, this was boatloads of encouragement and like hope and joy for my mental health. It gave me something to look forward to in the middle of the unimaginable. I was going to run races with other folks. And so I was not the fastest, but I didn't have to be, because I was freaking doing it. Okay? I was getting it done. I was doing it. I was running 40-minute 5Ks, 47-minute 5Ks, but that's 3.10 miles, right? I was doing it, and I was proud of myself. And I was just a running machine, running most days. Now, there were days as time went on where I could not do a 5K every day. You know, some days I would have to do like 1.86 miles, or my kids would be in an activity, and so I would go to a gym that had childcare for my younger children, and while my teens were doing things, all the mamas understand, and you know, maybe I could only get a mile in, but I was still getting it in. I was still getting in several 5Ks a week. And so in my very first official 5K for the winter series, I believe I got just a little under 38 minutes. I ran the whole thing in a herd of like 500 people, and I had fun. I ordered like the little green elf skirt and it was the Jingle Bell 5K, had the little Jingle Bell necklace on. It was so good for me. And then I went on, the whole winter series was 7 5Ks. And I think 1 to 2 of them, there was a snow situation. 1 got rescheduled, so I think I did about 6 of them. And now through that journey, I continued to learn, because I wasn't running with any help. I was just walking out of trauma, fell into running, loved running. By January, my back calf was, talking to me a little bit, and sometimes the front of my lower leg hurt a little bit. And so I continued on. I was reading about running, I was talking to other runners, and it became apparent by March I had shin splints, and that really scared me. Because by that point, I still needed the heavy movement every day for my mental health. I still needed those endorphins. Even if it was a day I couldn't run, I needed a heavy walk. And so with shin splints, I quickly got the information that those can turn into like a serious stress fracture. And then I would be in a boot, and then I wouldn't be able to run for 12 weeks. And just the idea of that made me so, I cried over that. And so I did go into like a little local urgent care with a 6 and 9-year-old with me for fun. And I got an x-ray, and there wasn't a fracture, but I did realize if I'm going to keep doing this and keep my body healthy and learn things, I needed to start working with a running coach. So I started working with a running coach, and we started doing wonderful things, not only learning some proper stretches for me to do and healing those shin splints, allowing me to still get movement in during that time. We also started doing strength training and working on my core. I mean, I've had 9 humans, what my core's like, I don't even know how to activate these muscles. So just healing my body from decades of being a woman and a mom, and, working with my back, working with my neck. And so I was then able to continue running 5Ks. I have, within all that time, I also did some 10Ks. Sorry, we're out in nature now. 10Ks on my property. I am now signed up for many more. I just did a local one here recently. I have my first half marathon this fall. I'm probably signed up for 7 or 8 total races over the next several months. I also do things like run once or twice a week on trails and other local areas besides my property. And it's just been a wonderful journey. I never, ever thought I'd be a runner. That's what got me making these videos. People were asking me if I used to run track and if I used to do cross country, and like as if I had done all these athletic things before. I lettered in chorus in high school, okay? I played tennis for one season and I was horrid because I wouldn't wear my glasses while I played tennis. I am not an athlete, but I am a runner. And in my most recent 5K this past weekend, I got my best group 5K time ever. In that 5K, my time, it's an improvement, and I love improvements. They're our favorite, right? My time was just over 35 minutes, and my best mile pace was 10.29, and my overall pace was like 10.57. But when I started, I had a pace of like 13:30 and 14:57, and those are great paces because you're doing it and I was doing it. So it's been such a good journey for me. I've also lost 60 pounds, not just from running. Also, it has to do with, continuing to move my body and the food that I'm eating. I've been sharing more about that over on my YouTube channel at Jamerrill Stewart over on YouTube. I'll share more about that over here if you'd like to hear more. But I just hope that this whole little path I've been on encourages you with whatever you're facing and wherever you are today to keep going, keep moving.